If you've been lifting for a few years but only got a mediocre physique to show for it, watch this video as I'll be sharing a few strategies you can implement immediately to start making gains again. Intermediate purgatory is where I see many, if not most lifters, and it is the stage in your lifting career where you can clearly see that you work out. You probably have one or two muscle groups that are the strong point in your physique. For example, you could be the guy with the strong chest, the big arms, the wide back, but you also likely have a lagging muscle group or two. Realistically, it's probably your legs and something else. Overall, your physique is solid, but by no means impressive. Yeah, it probably looks good to civilians, but you know it's only mediocre. You're neither shredded and vascular, nor are you a jacked and stacked powerhouse. You, my friend, are in the intermediate purgatory. And it is at this stage that you decide if you want to become an elite lifter, or if you're going to be cutting and bulking the same weight for the rest of your time training. And you do have to decide, because it has to be a conscious effort. All of what you've achieved up to this point could have been the result of you just showing up. But to be an elite lifter, just showing up won't cut it. My first piece of advice is to have a clear goal. Not having a clearly defined goal is symptomatic of the belief that as long as you keep showing up to the gym, you'll keep progressing. In reality, you'll only end up spinning your wheels wondering why you've been plateauing for the last 8 months. Eventually, you lose motivation, take a 3 to 6 month hiatus from the gym, and subsequently lose some progress. Then you watch a motivational video on YouTube, experience a new wave of motivation, come back to the gym, mistake the regaining of your lost strength for new gains, eventually plateau again, get demotivated, quit, only to later repeat the whole cycle again. If this sounds all too familiar, you obviously need to set clearly defined, measurable goals. For example, gain 20 pounds over a period of next 6 to 8 weeks, or go from 25% body fat to 15% body fat. Number 2, have a strategy. You'll have to honestly assess your physique, pinpoint your strengths and your weaknesses, and create a personalized training program that accounts for those strengths and targets those weaknesses. I'll be making a separate video on how a natural lifter should approach programming for hypertrophy. Number 3, eat more. Unless you're beyond a reasonable body fat percentage, in other words, you're not fat, you should absolutely increase your calorie intake because, I believe, the vast majority of natural lifters have no business cutting. In my opinion, cutting is reserved only for well-advanced lifters who've put on serious mass over a period of serious lifting as an intermediate to an early advanced lifter. Otherwise, you're only halting or even regressing in the gym. Again, this is an errant belief that originates from professional bodybuilding that natural lifters adopted, and it is the concept of prepping seasons and on and off seasons. Unless you're competing, which I'm sure the vast majority of you are not, there's no on and off season for you. There's no prepping season and on and off season for you. Cutting and bulking every 6 months is going to get you nowhere, but it is going to take a ton of effort and wasted energy. As a natural lifter, you cannot shed weight quickly and effectively without also losing significant muscle mass to afford doing a cut every summer. Nor can you build significant size if you keep alternating between cutting and bulking phases too frequently. You're either going to end up cutting too aggressively, which will end up hurting your natural testosterone production and subsequently your health, due to the sheer fatigue of intense training, cardio, and the lack of calories to support it, or you're going to bulk too aggressively, which will end up in the accumulation of too much adipose tissue because your body does not have the super physiological hormonal profile to facilitate muscle synthesis from all the excess calories you're intaking. Start with a modest increase of 500 calories above your baseline, and as you progress, increase your calorie intake up another 300 to 500 calories. Be mindful of your calorie intake and know that you can always readjust if you start plateauing or getting a bit too chubby. Number 4, rest more. As I've stated once already, I'm a big proponent of high intensity training, so it is only natural that you would require more rest as well to compensate for the additional effort. In case you've ever been unable to hit the gym for a couple of days, you've undoubtedly experienced a greater ability to perform following this couple-day break. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to implement a 2 consecutive rest day strategy in place of only taking 1 day off. So even if you feel fresh after only 1 rest day, I encourage you to take another day off. Not only will you experience complete recovery, but your eagerness to hit the gym will skyrocket. If you already take 2 days off, I assume that you train Monday through Friday and then take the weekend off, which is fine, but I still encourage you to implement 2 rest days in between your training days. Let's assume you're doing push-pull legs. What you're likely doing is doing 2 cycles of push-pull legs back to back and then taking 1 to 2 days off. Or you're doing push-pull legs, taking 1 day off, and then repeating the cycle over again. What I'm advising you to do is do push-pull legs, take 2 days off, and then repeat the cycle over and over again. This simple strategy of rearranging your rest days will have an immediate impact on your ability to perform, and subsequently will allow you to break through plateaus. Number 5, cut out the fluff. You should be conservative in your exercise selection. only choosing those lifts which are hypertrophy biased, meaning that they provide for an appropriate range of motion, stress the muscle most at the point of maximal stretching, and ideally have a good stimulus to fatigue ratio. Cut out the unnecessary variations. Small muscle groups like your biceps realistically only need one exercise. I do preacher curls only. You might prefer a different variation, but if you're doing incline curls one exercise, standing barbell curls the next, followed by cable curls in your third workout, you'll never be able to track your progress accurately because you keep switching up the exercises. Stick to what works for you and grind it out. You can keep making progress on the same exercise for years. Number 6, start tracking your lifts. Arguably the easiest improvement you can make to instantly start breaking through plateaus. If you're still remembering how many reps and set you did in your last 6 workouts, you're almost definitely going to undertrain. This is because you will likely overestimate how much you did last time and underestimate how much you need to do today. Ideally, you should be writing all of your lifts down. I use this small notebook, but using your phone is fine as well, unless you start supersetting every exercise with 25 minutes scrolling Instagram Reels. Number 7, change your mindset. In this video, I've aimed to clarify common pitfalls most natural lifters will encounter during their lifting journey. But I've also made a video on how a natural lifter should approach training from an attitude perspective. In short, set a goal that seems almost unattainable. Understand that greatness and mastery are noble characteristics, and that pursuing them is an obligation. Make a training plan and follow it diligently. And remember that nothing great happens by chance, but only through obsession. With that, I conclude the video. Thank you for watching.